because the first one that I did, which was quite a few months ago, when probably in August or something, I had done a demo of these two reverb units, the reissue and an original 64. And turns out I had the tubes in the wrong sockets on this, which I'll explain at the end of the video, which is an honest mistake on my part, but because they actually wired this thing opposite of a normal unit, which I just figured out recently. And they also put a couple extra resistors on the foot switch going to the, I think the output of the reverb for some reason. I don't know what that was for. It looked like some kind of a pop suppressor, which actually kind of freaked out the tone control. That's what made me actually start looking at the circuit to see what was going on. But I fixed that, so I thought I'd do another one and give you a better representation of the way they differ a little bit. This one is still, the reissue is still on the bright side, probably because it's new. You can see on the reissue the numbers, the dwell, the mixer, and tone go from 0 or 1 to 12, and on a vintage unit they go from 1 to 10. I don't know if you can see that over there. So I just put the dwell and mix at 12 o'clock. The tone on this one's at about 4. The tone on this one, since it's so bright, I've got it around 2. I try to get them the same, even though the scales aren't the same. I'll explain a little bit more about the new unit. This thing, the reissue, really isn't like one you would buy in the store, because somebody had taken the printed circuit board out and put in a point-to-point wired circuit board, which I'll show you after this. But the beginning of this video was actually both amps and both reverbs at the same time. And one thing I wanted to just tell you, everything I got going on here, really nothing on here, but I do have the Vibe Baby, which is right here. I have it on, which gives it, you can hear it's on. But when you flip it back, it's in cancel mode, but it actually does a little bit of a mid-range boost. That's why people like the univibes and everything. Even when they're off, they add a little bit to the tone. Now I don't know if you can hear the difference when I turn it off. They also add noise too, so sometimes you don't want them on. Just gives a little boost, so I just want to let you know that is on during this whole video. And the vintage reverb, which is right there, is going through the vintage 1960 bassman, and this reissue, which is right here, is going through an original 1959 bassman that's been retweeted. So even though it looks new, it's a 59. So I'll just give you a right, left. The right's vintage and left is vintage with a reissue reverb. Just give you an example. Here's the right with the vintage reverb. Okay, now here's the left 59 bassman with the reissue. Alright, chords on the right vintage reverb. It almost has maybe a little bit longer decay. Here's the reissue. Let's see, what else can I do? Do the old I'm going to turn the reverb up just a hair on both of these. This is on this song. Let's see, I'm going to put it close to 2 o'clock. Do the same thing on this one. This is going to be a lot of reverb. Okay, this is the vintage reverb, 64. Not too bad. Okay, this is the vintage again. Get an idea. Let's do both again, just for the fun of it. About what I did to finally get this vintage reverb, the reissue reverb, to where it was supposed to be. And when I bought this, it came with the 59 Bassman, and he took the tubes out for shipping, and he sent them to me, and he numbered them, and I'm not positive. I can't remember exactly. But he may have numbered them correctly, but they were wrong as far as I was concerned because they didn't match the tube chart, which you can see. I've got arrows there saying these tubes should be switched. The tube chart shows just like a normal unit. Oh, let me get the schematic. And he probably numbered them correctly. I'm not sure, but he may have, and I thought he may have mixed up the numbers, so I put them in the way I thought they were supposed to. Because you can see on the circuit, which you can print this off the internet. If you ever want to work on these, it's always good to study these and try to learn more about amps, which I really enjoy. But this thing was acting funny when I would turn the tone control. It'd be real splashy, bright sounding, and then all of a sudden it would have no sound, or not no sound, but no tone. I was going, something's wrong. So that's what made me dig through this schematic to see if they'd miswired something. Well, when I started looking at it, it didn't make sense because they weren't going to the right tube sockets. Then I realized that the 7025 on mine was this tube, and the 12AT7 was this tube. So once I switched the tubes, it started sounding a little better. And also, right here, I don't know if you can see that. Right in this area was another resistor going from here to here, and this had kind of a weird deal going. So I didn't know what it was, but it's not on the original schematic. So I took it off, and I'm assuming it was some kind of pop suppressor, which actually it popped more with that on there. But now it sounds fine. I took it off. So that's one good thing. If you ever get something that's wired and you want to check it, it's always fun to go make sure everything's correct. Unfortunately, the reissues that you buy at the store are not easy to work on because they're printed circuit boards. So whoever did this spent a lot of time and money upgrading this thing. I don't know if it's really worth it because I've never had a real reissue with a printed circuit board. But it's sounding pretty good. Hopefully you got the idea of what it sounds like today. And if you don't like your reissue, then maybe you could look into doing this. I don't know if this is a kit or what it is, because I really haven't found anything like it on the internet. But whoever did it really went to a lot of trouble to get the grounds all. He did a really good ground job. He ran a wire all the way across the top here, and he connected everything to that and to the chassis. I just wasn't real thrilled about these capacitors. Those orange ones, they might be fine. But and then it goes back to the 6K6 GT tube, which the original units had. The reissue units have a 6V6 because they're more readily available. So they wired it back to the 6K6, which I thought was good. So this one might sound better than a full-blown reissue. But that's why I did this video over again. A little long-winded, but I hope you get something out of it. Main thing is you can't always trust anybody's work, and it's fun and easy to learn how to read these schematics. I always have, this is the layout, and then behind it is always the official electronic schematic, which shows the path of everything, where it goes to the tubes. See, there's the 6K6, 12AT7, 725's over here. That's half a tube, that's half a preamp tube. That's what those symbols are for. That's half a tube. The other half of the tube is right here. So each preamp tube is actually two tubes in one, and that's what they do. They use one half to drive, and then they go back to it, the other half, and drive a little more. So those are gain stages, they call them. Alright, well, Talk to you guys later.